for joining us once again on Asset Television News. I am Eugenia Solomon. First, the headlines. We are indigents of Taraba, not settlers. Tatipa tells Nigerians. EFCC arrests 17 persons in coordinated sting operations. Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board to review 2025 UTME results. The detail. Tiv indigents in Taraba State under the aegis of Taraba Tiv People's Association Tatipa have condemned in strongest terms their being referred to as settlers, saying that they are indigenous people of Taraba State. At a press conference in Abuja on Wednesday, one of the group leaders, Jacob Badede, said it would be wrong for anyone to tag the Tiv people of Taraba as settlers. Also, one-time advisor to Governor Joli Nyame, Obe Uchivi, said to this effect, the Jukun people whom they had lived in harmony with for long have now turned out to be their arbiters. Well, according
historical records also reveal a long-standing relationship between the Tiv and the Jukun people. Very cordial, very fantastic relationship that we had. During the reign of Aku, Avuka, Angyu, Zekanjo, that's 1820 to 1854, friendly relations were maintained with the Tiv. Further, under Aku, Agbumanu Agbu, 1845 to 1860, the Jukun and the Tiv allied militarily to resist the Fulani jihadist incursions at Wase and Misau, which threatened Ukari. You can get this Abraham in 1940 on page 19. In the early years of Aku Awudumanu Abite reigned at 1871 to 1903, a notorious marauder named Dankaro, who had been terrorizing Arufu and surrounding communities, was repaired by the joint Jukun Tiv force.
Well, he said in Wukari alone, over 230 Tiv villages have been deserted due to communal crisis, with more than 280,000 Tiv indigents rendered homeless.
Mass displacement of our people across Taraba and beyond. In Ukari local government, for example, alone, over 230 Tiv villages have been deserted. Additionally, 31 villages in Ibi local government have been deserted or forcefully evicted or displaced. 20 villages in Donga local government, same. Several in Takun local government are facing the same thing. Displaced, there are no people living in those areas.
According to him, it is not only unjust but a direct violation of rights of the Tiv people of Taraba State. Peace reconciliation committees of different administrations have propounded many solutions to the crisis, but all to no avail.
The marginalization of the Tiv people in Taraba State extends beyond displacement. It's also rooted in the systematic denial of traditional and political recognition. Despite being historically acknowledged by the colonial administration, Tiv traditional rulers have been persistently denied elevation to graded chiefdoms, a recognition routinely granted to other ethnic groups. We are not requesting the creation of new traditional institutions. We are demanding the long overdue upgrade of Tiv traditional institutions that have existed for over a century, over 100 years. By 1923, several Tiv traditional institutions were recognized by the colonial administration in what is now known as Southern Taraba during the Okari division era.
Sequel to this, the Tiv people of Taraba State are demanding the arrest of one Angyu Yavini, prompt investigation and prosecution of all individuals involved in attacks on Tiv people regardless of their ethnic background, and also for the government to direct the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to respond to the crisis of the people. While the Nigerian Senate has called on the federal government to ensure that local government councils have at least one representative at the Federation Account Allocation Committee (FAC) to protect their interest. The Senate further resolved that this resolution be formally communicated to the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy for necessary action. These resolutions followed a motion presented by Senator Issa Jibrin, representing Kogi East on behalf of the Deputy Senate President Barrow Jibrin. In his presentation, Senator Jibrin noted that both local government councils and area councils in the Federal Capital Territory (FCT) are constitutionally entitled to receive federal allocations directly, emphasizing that the state does not have any rights to hinder such need allocation process. The motion received overwhelming support from lawmakers.
May I say that Nigerians are actually waiting for these kind of motions, in the sense that it will enable those who are going to be part of the sharing formula to be at the table, for them to know what exactly is being shared and what and why this is being allocated to us. Your Excellencies, we have done Nigerians proud, and I'm sure all of us in the Senate are in support of this motion. I therefore lend my support for.
I stand to support in its totality the desire of this motion. And I stand to move that. I stand also to suggest that it will not only remain at the motion level. I have been at the local government council for some time. I was a former councillor and a former local government chairman. And I do know, as rightly said by most of our colleagues, is that if there is direct funding coming from the federation account to the local government, there will be a lot of developmental changes. But sir, if somebody has a right in sharing and he is not participating, he is not part of the sharing, it's like they're giving him a dash.
The Supreme Court gave a judgment. After the Supreme Court judgment, there were several steps to implement, to no avail. I will tell you, Mr. President, that a few weeks ago, I was in Jos, my state, and I asked the question, I asked them, what is happening to local governments? And the local government said, in the last 2 years, they don't know what was given to them. And I said, even from the actions from radio, television, and also confirmed by the chairman, Progressive Governors Forum, he said from the time of subsidy to date, the allocation to the states and local government has been 3 times the amount. Instead of taking this message back to local governments, nobody is drumming that message because they don't know what is given to them. The only avenue that they will know what is given to them and will hold them responsible, it is this action that you are bringing. Because when they sit at federation account and get what they know what they are getting, let them not go back with 3 times allocation and they tell the people that what we got is 1 allocation. This country deserves a lot of transparency. The man at the local government level deserves transparency. I said it here, I said I'm not drumming my trumpet. 3 years before I left local government with autonomy. Everything that was coming from federation account was given to them. How they spend it, I didn't know.
Those in favor, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Communicate this resolution to the Honorable Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy as the chairman of FAC for its urgent information and necessary action. Those in favor of this prayer, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. 6. The concurrence of the House of Representatives on this. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. I'm writing to inform Your Excellency the President of the Senate and my distinguished colleagues of my defection from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and join the All Progressive Congress, APC. My decision is based on the lingering internal crisis of the PDP and my belief that the ideas of the APC are better aligned with my political aspirations, which will enable me to participate fully in the renewed hope for the benefit of my senatorial district and Nigeria at large. When I was sworn in as a senator in June 2023, my more than 100 villages in my senatorial district were occupied by bandits and in constant fear of kidnappings, rapes, and cattle rustlings. To the glory of God, the deployment of troops
let me know, Mr. Mose.
at Male Kachi has played significant roles in proactive security of the area. My people have almost all returned back and are farming peacefully. The main challenges outstanding now is further troops deployment in the northern flank at Dan Umaru, but in Zamfara State. Once deployed, it will ensure adequate security coverage of Kebbi South Senatorial District. In appreciation of the efforts of Mr. President, I would like to join hands to support the President's renewed hope agenda, to which I fully subscribe. Furthermore, the contribution of the Senate leadership under the uncommon President of the Senate towards the reconstruction of the Yauri-Zuru Road, for which funds were allocated in 2025 budget and will continue to be allocated towards the completion of the road next year. These and many more positive, proactive actions of Mr. President have significantly convinced me that the APC is a party for progressive development. So, I attest and hereby joined.
I want to say, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, that this is democracy at work. And this is part of the beauty of democracy. But before anything, let me remind all those who are insinuating on the largely unregulated social media that the president of the country, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, is working with his party, the APC, to turn Nigeria to a one-party democracy. We were all in this country when the People's Democratic Party was the ruling party. And we saw all manners of things that happened at the polls in an attempt to get more states, more senatorial seats, more House of Rep seats, and so on and so forth. We are not at the polls. No one is being coerced. If anyone will be coerced, definitely it is not Senator Adamu Alero that I know and that all of us know. It is not Professor Yahya Abdullahi that will be co-opted by anyone. Neither is it Senator Medoki, who had also made a mark in the private sector before he ever ventured into politics. They are not in politics so that they could feed. And as far as we are concerned, the Professor Yahya Abdullahi that I know would rather stay in opposition and be very loud. And more Nigerians will probably even celebrate him doing that. But they recognize the fact that this is not the time for grandstanding. This is the time for all of us to work together to take Nigeria to the next level. And I say it again for the umpteenth time. Those who refer to this parliament as a rubber stamp parliament should note that we are at a